Where the hell is Balsef? If we don't hurry up and find him...
You're too close. Try to stay farther apart.
Oh, right. Sorry about that. Was I really that close?
I guess I'm just not used to standing right next to people.
You mean because of your thorns? You're a surprisingly nice person.
What?
You don't think so? I mean, you just made sure your thorns wouldn't...
You can keep your opinions to yourself. You don't know the first thing about me.
I'm not saying I know everything about you. Sheesh. No need to bite my head off.
You just can't take a hint, can you?
What? I'm sorry. You're right. I don't know what sorts of hardships you've been through. After all, what could I possibly know about pain?
I know you didn't mean anything bad by what you said. The throne room is up on the next floor. That's probably where we'll find Balsef. Having second thoughts?
No, I was just thinking about the blazing sword. Whenever I hold it, I feel... wrong somehow.
Is relying on a sword from a Renin Master Core that repulsive?
It's not about that. It's just... It's hard to explain. It's like the sword is almost too strong.
I don't know what's got you so worried, but in case you forgot, that sword is the only reason we have a fighting chance against a lord.
I know. You don't need to keep telling me.
Well, good. That said, the longer you use it, the more you get burned by it, too. We need to remember to patch you up quickly when that happens. A double-edged sword in every sense. Since you can't feel pain, you'll need to be careful, okay?
Are you actually worried about me?
Is that a problem? Look, I need you if I'm going to take out the lords, and I can't have you dying on me before that happens. That's my only concern.
So this is Cislodia.
How far is it to the capital?
We've still got a ways to go. Also, the Zeugles here are different than those in Calaglia, so be careful.
Got it. Sounds like we should make sure we stick close together as we keep moving.
Agreed. Hey, Shion!
It'll be hard for me to use my rifle in a pinch if we're all bunched together. I'll follow behind the rest of you.
Right. Makes sense.
What's up with her? She seems even more upfront than back in Calaglia.
In case you forgot, we're in enemy territory now. If you don't get serious and focus on the task at hand, you'll be inviting trouble.
Don't take it personally. I think that's just the way she is. Plus, you have to remember, with those thorns of hers, she's probably not used to anybody being all that friendly to her. The fact that you can't feel pain means you probably end up getting closer to her than she's used to.
You really think so?
We're talking about someone who came down to Dana all by herself. But you don't see her homesick for Lenegis at all, do you?
No.
That alone speaks volumes about how difficult her whole situation must be.
Yeah.
It's your job as her partner to understand that, and give her the support she needs. You two are going to be stuck together for a while, so the sooner you make nice, the better.
Make nice?
Yep. Now come on.
What were you two talking about earlier?
Earlier? Oh, it was just serious guy talk. You know, the kind that girls don't get to hear.
Really?
Don't mind him, Rinwell. It's just... well, maybe it is a little difficult to talk about in front of women.
Difficult to talk about? Okay, now I really want to hear it. Unless... it's not the creepy sort of guy talk, right?
No! Okay? It's not creepy!
Okay, okay. As long as you're fighting fit, you can talk about whatever you like.
Hey. Is it just me, or have those two barely spoken a single word to one another?
I know, right? But after everything that happened with Miguel, is it really any wonder?
Kinda puts a damper on the whole journey though, huh? How long do you think they're gonna keep this up?
If it bothers you that much, why don't you ask them?
Why do I have to ask?
How come you walk together like that?
She really doesn't beat around the bush.
You mean Kisara and myself?
You hadn't noticed? You've been practically joined at the hip ever since we left Vicente.
I guess it's force of habit, most likely. I was always ready to protect him, should the need arise. It sort of came with the job description.
Right. From being in the Elder Menancia Guard. Although, Dohalim's pretty capable of defending himself, isn't he?
Having guards doesn't necessarily mean the one being guarded is weak. No one's perfect all the time.
Even so, it's not like they're entirely wrong, Kisara. You're no longer in my employ, after all.
I don't know. I mean, if it's what she's used to and you're both comfortable with it, then who are we to judge?
But she doesn't serve him anymore. It isn't normal for her to keep following him around like she still does.
You know, she's probably right. And a lot has changed over the last few days. I guess it wouldn't hurt to rethink our relationship in light of the new circumstances. Perhaps I'll give it some thought after all. Does that sound all right by you?
Of course.
You might want to stop asking his permission for every little thing while you're at it.
Sorry. It's not that easy, shaking off old habits. I'll probably need a little time to get fully used to it.
All of these ruins look like they were made pretty recently.
But if that's the case, then where do you think the people that used to live here went off to? There must have been Danans and Renans, right?
That's a good question. Even if the Danans rebelled and managed to overthrow the Renans here, there should still be some people around.
This debris. Do you think it could be the work of Renan astral arts?
Perhaps. But the appearance of these ruins is rather uniform, which leads me to believe otherwise.
Hey, Rinwell. That story you told us about the Dark Wings. It said that the evil king was vanquished with a holy flame, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Then there might be some truth to that old story after all. It looks like all the rubble here had been scarred by flames.
Let's not jump to any conclusions just yet. If we can find someone around here, we might be able to get them to tell us what happened.
I get the feeling Deadeye's signed up to be a rebel, so he could have a roost to rule. Heck, he's no better than a lord. In some ways, he's even worse.
I know. How could he use explosives on his own people?
And yet, despite the toll of his actions, none of the Danans we've seen seem to question his assumed authority in the least. If anything, they may well consider him a hero, which would say a great deal toward how deeply they resented the Renans here.
Still, I don't think this is as simple as saying the good guys won out over the bad ones.
Yeah, I don't either. Deadeye might have managed to drive the Renans out of Niaz, but that doesn't make the way he did it okay. No matter which way you look at it.
A victory that's earned by throwing away the lives of his own people? No, that isn't a victory at all. I can understand that the Danans here are standing up against their oppression, but that doesn't mean they have to humiliate all Renans just to settle the score.
I'm perfectly able to stand up for myself, Alphen. Besides, I'm used to it by...
But you shouldn't have to be, Shion. It's just... What I mean to say is, when you've been a slave for so long, it's easy to accept that's how it should be because it's all you've ever known. Constantly being belittled is no different. I don't think that's fair. For me or for you. You don't look so good. Are you all right?
The floor. It keeps moving. How can you stand it? How can you even stand?
I'm not the best person to ask about discomfort. I can't feel pain, remember?
I still can't believe what happened in Niaz. Even now. As a lord, my expectations for Almeidrea were already pretty low. But the way she treated human lives like they're mere playthings.
Yeah. And it wasn't as if the situation in Niaz was improving much to begin with.
You mean Deadheim.
The whole reason I started fighting back was because of my anger at the atrocities of Renan rule. Back then, all I had to worry about was fighting the Renans for the sake of the Danans. But then I met Shion and the people of Menancia, and things became a lot more complicated. It's even messier now that we have to worry about Danans like Deadheim.
It used to be that the Danans were the ones in the right, and the Renans were the ones in the wrong. Though, maybe that was just a biased perspective from being on the side of the oppressed.
Exactly. I'll never tolerate the Renans ruling over us, but nothing ever ends up being as black and white as you'd expect it to be either. That's clear to me now.
That said, even putting aside bad apples like Deadheim for a moment, you may be able to free the Danan people, but that won't undo 300 years of oppression. It'll be hard for them to not give in to their resentment. I think maybe that's why I clung to our dream so hard back in Menancia.
Even if his motivations weren't pure, Dohalim has a good heart. He didn't sink to the depths Almadria did.
You don't understand. I'm saying that it goes deeper than that. This hierarchy we live in, it's not solely something the Renans invented. I remember a story Rinwell once told me. She said before the Renans invaded, we Danans had our own class system. We are the ones who divided ourselves. I saw it in Deadheim's eyes. He wanted to rule over others.
To hear Bayfon tell it, Deadheim wasn't always that way.
But as time went on, and he and the Darkwings fought the Renans, he eventually changed. I guess what I'm getting at is, if we defeat the Renans but just go back to the way things were before, was there even any point in fighting?
But that world isn't the one you want to create, right?
Maybe not. But to tell you the truth, these days I'm not so sure that dream is even possible.
You have your promise to Megal, though. Your home and the people of Menancia are depending on you.
I know. My brother. He truly believed in his dream of coexistence. And I suppose, even now, many people still do. And then, there's you.
Who, me?
You and Shion.
I'm not sure I follow.
Okay, then let me spell it out for you. How many other Renans and Danans do you know that get on as spectacularly as the two of you?
I don't know that I'd say spectacularly.
Well, I suppose it's really all a matter of how you look at it, isn't it?
I really don't see what you're getting.
I think I'm getting seasick again. Sorry. Can you just give me a wide berth for a few minutes?
Hey, Alphen?
What is it?
While I was away, what did you do?
I missed you.
Alphen. But after what happened because of me...
I got a glimpse of the real you. It was worth it. You could say the pain is some kind of reward.
Some reward. You sure all that hurt hasn't done something to your head, too?
Hey now.
Is it just me, or are they...
It's been a while. They're just happy to see each other.
I know. I mean, it's fine.
We all express ourselves in different ways. Leave them be.
They should get a room.
Is it just me, or does Rinwell suddenly seem much more comfortable around Dohalim than she used to?
I noticed that too. When the two of them came and found me together back on the beach, I could hardly believe my eyes.
It's not like we had a choice or anything. Law and Kisara had to hang back to convince the villagers we meant them no harm. More than that, though. There are a lot of things I've still got to come to terms with regarding Almadria. But I guess I'm through making snap judgments based on someone's origin. At least, I'm trying to be. I guess you could say it's a work in progress.
I see. You hear that, Law? Sounds like all that hard effort wasn't for nothing.
Yeah.
That's got to be reassuring to hear. Right, Dohalim?
Not being subjected to unwarranted suspicion is certainly welcome.
Yeah, that long-winded way you have of talking, though, not so much a fan of that.
I think that's more of a personality thing than a Renin trait.
Really? In that case, I won't have to feel guilty getting annoyed by it. I sure hope nothing bad's happened to Shion.
Keep those thoughts to yourself, Rinwell. Everyone's anxious enough as it is.
Sorry. It's just... I can't seem to stop thinking about it. What do you think it is that Volron wanted with her anyway?
Going by what he said back on Almadria's ship, it would appear his primary target is Alphen. Though, it's likely he hasn't forgotten the blow he sustained at Shion's hand either. That might even be what ignited his interest.
Yeah, did you see the way he reacted? It was like he was enjoying every moment. Even his pain at Shion's thorns. Oh, that guy's just creepy.
Let's just hope he's keeping his perverted tendencies in check.
What? Law? Don't say things like that.
It's not like we weren't all thinking it.
That's still no reason to...
All right, you two. Now that's enough already. Alphen shouldn't have to grit his teeth while he listens to you.
Oh.
Sorry. Is it just me, or is the blazing sword burning even more brightly than before?
Yeah, as if the astral energy within it has become more powerful somehow.
It would appear Alphen has learned to harness his sovereign abilities to even greater effect.
Is that true, Alphen?
I'm not sure. I don't think I'm doing anything differently.
You're not. It's proof of your strengthened bond with Shion. No further explanations needed.
Oh man, for real? Nice!
Is that true?
How am I supposed to know?
Fat lot of good the two of you are.
I may have a theory or two I could offer.
Yeah, no. I think we're good.
Now that you mention it, though, I guess I have noticed a change. It's like there isn't as much resistance when energy's being siphoned from my master core.
Aha! So it is a bond thing! Aw, you guys!
Wait, what about your hand? That thing practically used to give you third-degree burns every time you wielded it, right?
Kisara's got a point. And if it's gotten even hotter since then...
I won't lie. The searing heat and pain are almost unbearable. Almost. When I'm fighting, I'm somehow able to endure it. It's like the sword becomes part of me or something. Like I can feel it pulsing through my chest. I can't describe it.
In other words, your heart burns with a flame more powerful than even that of the sword. Fascinating.
Yeah, take it from our resident poet laureate.
Hey, Shion.
Don't.
Okay.
I'm sorry. But if you come any closer, you'll only end up getting hurt.
Because of your thorns, you mean? Trust me, I've endured...
No, that's not it. You don't understand, Never mind. Sorry, just forget I said anything, okay?
If it isn't your thorns, does that mean there's something else?
It's just... It's nothing, really, okay? So you can stop asking me.
Okay. In that case, I'll see you up ahead, okay?
Something's eating at you again, huh?
I don't know if I would say that. I mean... Actually, I guess I do have one or two things on my mind. My people, we lived in hiding, so we never really experienced the full extent of Renin oppression. Not directly, anyway. After Almadria killed my mother and father, though, I guess that's when I started hating them so much. The Renans, I mean. But then I think of all those people who were born into slavery. The ones who never even got angry in the first place because it was all they ever knew.
I hear you. Every city we've been to, it's the resistance that gets labeled the troublemakers for having the guts to do the right thing.
When it comes down to it, sometimes I wonder which of us really has the better way.
You can't let your anger eat away at you, Rinwell. But then again, losing your parents that way... Hell, who could really blame you for it if you did? I guess what I'm trying to say is... sorry. Hell, it's hard putting this stuff into words.
No, I get it. You're saying that grief and anger are different than hatred. I never thought of it like that. But hearing you say it, it makes sense. Thanks, La.
You're welcome?
Where are you going?
Since when do I need your permission to move around?
I wasn't saying that you do. Though I'm not sure why you're biting my head off about it either.
Oh, that's so typical of you. How can you be so relaxed about all this? At this very moment, the enemy is doing who knows what behind the scenes, and yet we're just sitting here twiddling our thumbs in Ganeth Harros.
I know that, but our hands are tied right now. What do you want me to do? And what's gotten into you anyway? Is there something you want to say to me, Shion?
Look, you're right. Forget I said anything.
If I said something to hurt you, I'm sorry. But I honestly don't know what I said to upset you so much. I really wish you would tell me.
You don't need to apologize. You didn't say anything. It's not your fault. It's not anyone's fault. Not really.
Then why?
Please just drop it. I don't want to talk about it.
All right. If that's what you want, I won't push any further.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. Just don't be too hard on yourself, okay?
How you holding up?
Who, me?
Yes, you. You took a hit from those thorns again, didn't you?
Oh, that? That was nothing.
Compared to what Shion's going through, you mean? Still, even if you yourself might be willing to endure that kind of pain, that doesn't mean Shion wants to have to see you get hurt by her thorns, you know?
Yeah, I know. I'll be careful.
Shion doesn't know how lucky she is to have you around, you know? Dashing in to save her at the last minute.
Yeah, very funny.
I'm being serious. You went up and held her close like you still had that mask on, and you didn't even bat an eye. She really needed that. That's what I mean when I said you saved her. Just like you did with the rest of us.
I just want for Shion what we all have. The ability to touch someone without the fear of killing them. Those thorns have robbed her of the kind of everyday things we all take for granted. And it's not right.
You can say that again. It may be normal for us, but that doesn't make it any less special or important for her. I hope she gets what she wants. I have my own dreams, but a world without her, where she dies so we can all survive, isn't a world I want to live in.
Agreed. It's like more and more keeps getting taken from her, and I'm done with it.
I'll be going to Lenegus soon.
This must feel like a homecoming of sorts to you, huh? What was life on Lenegus like back then? You know, before you came to Dana.
Let's just say, I don't have many happy memories. I've had thorns my whole life, for as long as I can remember. They called it treatment, but in truth, they were just using me as a guinea pig for their research.
You mean, they experimented on you?
That's right. All I was to them was a riddle to solve. They poked and prodded me, trying to figure out what triggered my thorns or changed the form they took. Day in and day out, every single day, one test after another. I'm still surprised they didn't try to dissect me. The look they gave me whenever one of them touched my skin. How could I forget it? Reeling from the pain, like I was a monster or something. Some existence, huh? A blight on any I touched. helplessly complicit in their pain. I thought things couldn't get any worse, but then they did. I started to have nightmares, visions of the coming apocalypse. Is it any wonder I lacked a cheery disposition, unable to so much as touch another soul? Loneliness was my best friend. Sure, I survived, but with the knowledge that one day I'd be swallowed up by oblivion. And that's when it hit me. If I was going to die, then it should mean something. If I have to sacrifice myself to save the world, so be it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you relive that.
No, it's fine. I'm in a much better place now.
You say it's your destiny to die so that others can live. But why not the other way around? Why shouldn't we be the ones dying to save you?
Are you crazy? Why would you sacrifice your life for...
That's exactly my point. Why should you have to give up your life just because you drew the short straw in the destiny stakes? How is that even right? It's that logic that's used to justify slavery, as if some of us were just meant to be sacrificed. This struggle was never about saving only ourselves. But that doesn't mean we have to give up our own lives to save everyone else's either. If we're doing this to protect people, if we're doing this to save the world from destruction, then that has to include saving each other as well.
A world free of sacrifice. That's what you've been fighting for all along, isn't it?
Not just me. We're in this together, remember? This fight is yours too, Xion. If we're going to win, everyone has to win. There can be no room for losers in this fight. Now I see it. The true nature of our struggle.
A victory without losers. But that means that a Danon victory over Rena can't be the end. Do you think we can pull it off?
You bet we can pull it off. We have to. It's the only hope we have of things ever changing.
Yeah, you're right. No one's ever changed the future without aiming for the stars. We can do this. Together.
Is everyone about ready? We'll soon be making preparations to land.
Before we do that, just what exactly should we expect when we get down there?
Kisara has a point. Now that I think of it, I don't know the first thing about Lenegis.
I'd like to hear more too. It's been centuries since I was last there, and they didn't exactly give me the grand tour.
Very well. First and foremost, Lenegis was the base of operations in charge of the crown contest on Dana. Of course, it also happens to be a city in its own right, complete with its own independent society. Its social structure is based on a strict hierarchy. Put simply, the strength of an individual's astral arts carries great weight.
Enough to determine someone's social rank, you mean? But astral arts are innate, right? So people's positions are fixed at birth.
They can be honed with the right training, and there are admittedly other factors at play. But yes, that's basically the gist. As a result, family lines that churn out lords and their contenders wield disproportionate influence, and those lineages are treated as nobility.
Those capable of only weak astral arts are effectively an underclass, denied the right to descend to Dana even if they wanted to. Still, even the lowest rung on the Renan ladder is considered superior to being a Danon. Keep that in mind down there.
Thanks for the warning. As a lord, Dohalim must have been pretty high up in the pecking order, right? What about you, Xion?
Come on, you've seen her skill with astral arts. You really need to ask?
Fair point.
On arts alone, you're right. I'd have been sitting pretty. But you're forgetting my thorns. They weren't exactly an invitation to high society.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's refreshing to be around someone who says what they're thinking. Life's less complicated that way.
Jeez, give backhanded compliments much?
Wait a second. Are you? He is! Lost blushing!
I am not!
Of course, separating people into castes based on something arbitrary like arts is discrimination at its worst. As if such simplistic criteria could ever be a measure of someone's worth.
So this Red Woman, are we expecting to find her on Lenegis?
I would wager so. Lenegis is too deeply involved in all this to discard the possibility. Chances are she's also connected to the Renis Alma being stolen from us in Pelegion.
If the Renis Alma is being used to exploit Dana, we need to take it back at all costs.
That red woman's got a lot to answer for. Just as well I've got a ton of questions.
We're about to land. The descent could be a little bumpy, so brace yourselves.
If there are clues about your thorns out there, Shion, we'll find them. So Naori sealed away the power that made me lose control of myself. She stopped my rampage and saved my life. But then, that power she'd sealed away was passed down to you. I'm so sorry, Shion. It's my fault that you're cursed.
You're wrong. What happened to you was because of the ceremony, and Naori's attempt to stop Oblivion. You paid a heavy price for it, and then fell asleep for 300 years. The reason you lost your memories
is the reason for your curse.
The thorns.
It all leads back to them. But once they're gone, we can finally put an end to all this.
When my thorns are gone, I never dared to dream that such a thing could be possible. No, the truth is, I think maybe I've always been dreaming about a life without my thorns. The touch of my family, or playing with my friends, holding hands with Rinwell, or giving Law a deserved smack, embracing everyone. All the normal things that people do together. I always wished I could experience them for myself, and finally know what they were like. Is it really okay for me to believe it can happen? I'm so scared of getting my hopes up. What if it doesn't work out in the end, and...
That's not going to happen. I'm here to make sure it won't. Forget fate or destiny or anything else. We're going to live a normal life. There are a lot of things you still want to do, right?
Yeah, you're right. It's such a strange feeling. I know that we've still got plenty of fighting up ahead. And it's for my sake. So I can live.
You're worth fighting for.
I believe you, Alphen.
Good. I'll keep on fighting. For as long as it takes. Until our future is finally in our hands.
And here I was thinking I could get some rest. Is something the matter?
The matter? No, nothing like that.
Then if it's all the same to you, I'll be going to sleep, thanks.
Is chatting with me really that much of a drag?
I just don't get the point, that's all. Is there some pressing reason why we have to talk right now?
I don't know, I think we should all make an effort to get to know one another. What if there's an emergency?
An emergency?
What if one of us suddenly got sick?
Then I'd cure them with my healing arts and we'd move on.
That's easy for you to say. But for the person doing the asking, it may not be so easy to approach you.
If they can't work up the courage to approach me, that's their problem. Unless you're suggesting I'd refuse to heal someone for the fun of it.
I didn't say that.
So what then? Quit beating around the bush and just tell me.
Look, what I'm trying to say is... if we're going to be traveling together, it makes more sense to do it as companions, rather than being at each other's throats the whole time.
I still don't get it. But I do understand that whatever it is, it obviously must mean a lot to you. I'm not trying to make things more difficult for you just for the sake of it. So, I'll make more of an effort to talk every now and then, even when we don't have to. Happy?
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
Then if you don't mind, I'm going to get some sleep. Have a good night.
Didn't get it, huh?
I thought you had something to talk about. I was waiting on you.
Not really. Why? Should I leave you alone when I don't?
No, it's fine.
We used to really have to force these conversations when we started talking to each other, didn't we?
To say the least. Hey,
What is it?
do you think you'd like to make something together?
Make what exactly?
Just if you wanna make dinner together. What did you think I meant?
Huh? Dinner? Oh, dinner, yes. Yes, of course. Dinner. Right.
What did you think I was talking about?
No, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. Anyway, what did you have in mind?
Well, do you recognize these ingredients?
This is... Wait, is this?
So you remember? That's right. We're going to fix the very first meal we ever had together. Although I remember it not being well received when we had it.
You still remember that, huh? I'm sorry, Shion.
I'm just teasing you, Alphen. I picked this recipe because it's easy to make, and I thought it would be a good choice for dinner, too. Anyway, let's get to work. With both of us making it, we should be finished in no time.
I never thought we'd end up eating alone like this again. Just the two of us.
Yeah, so much has changed when you look back on it. Well, I guess maybe not what we're eating, but still.
No, I'd say even that's changed too, in a sense. Our meals are a whole lot better now.
True. We've both come quite a long way in the culinary arts.
That's not exactly what I mean. How do I put it? It feels like eating together is a lot more enjoyable than it used to be.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Even after our battles are done, when Dana is saved and our mission is finished, we'll probably still be sitting down to dinner like this, night after night.
Yep, I doubt that much will change. You've always got to eat at some point.
I hope our dinners will always feel like this.
Maybe not exactly like this. Hopefully we won't still be camping out.
Oh, no, not at all. I meant in a nice, warm house. One with a roof over our heads and a proper fireplace, instead of an open campfire.
And real chairs instead of these logs. Nice plates and silverware on a big dining table. Oh, and a proper kitchen. That'd be nice too.
And when it's time to fix dinner, we'll be in that kitchen.
Standing side by side.
Whoops. Looks like we made too much. I don't think we'll be able to finish all this.
Yeah, you're right. I'll see if anybody else is still awake. I'd really hate to have to throw it away.
Side by side, huh? Phew. That may not have been a fancy feast we just had, but I don't remember the last time I felt this full.
Do the Renans often not give you all enough to eat?
It's never enough. The Renans decide exactly how much we'll have and when we'll have it, and that's that. We do our best to get around it. Everyone has to grow their own food and such behind the Renans' backs in order to get by. Thinking about it now, I wonder if they've always kept it meager so we would never have the energy to try to resist what they've done to us.
Yeah. An empty stomach takes its toll on the body and the spirit after a while.
How does a Renan like you know what it's like?
I may be Renan, but they don't like me either. I could be squeaky clean and they still wouldn't give me anything.
Did your stomach just...
I didn't hear anything.
But you just ate. How are you already...
I said I didn't hear anything.
I still have some I haven't eaten yet. Do you want it?
Sure. Hey,
What?
if there's something you want to say, just come out and say it.
Huh?
I hate when I feel like people are laughing at me on the inside. Especially someone like you where I can't read your expression.
What? Why would I laugh at you? What are you talking about?
My outfit. As soon as you saw me in those ruins, you wanted to say something, didn't you?
Oh, it's not that. It's just...
Just what?
nothing.
You're a truly awful person. You know that?
An awful... Hey, you're the one jumping to conclusions about what I think. You're not one to talk.
Then prove me wrong and tell me what you were really thinking.
It wasn't anything mean about you, I promise.
I don't believe that for a second.
And it doesn't matter what the hell I tell you. You'll always doubt me.
Hey, Alphen?
What's up, Law?
You ever find yourself just wanting to give Rinwell a pat on the back?
Law?
Not in a weird way. I'm just saying, she may be sassy, but she's also trying really hard, you know? And sometimes, when I see how hard she's working, I just want to walk up and encourage her. Is that weird?
No, I can see why you might feel that way. After all, she is kind of like a little sister to everyone at this point.
Right, exactly! But I'm worried if I do it the wrong way, she'll blast me with her magic. Or if not her magic, she'll sick Hootle on me to peck my eyes out.
Yeah, there's not much you can do if she's not feeling up for it. In fact, you're not the only one struggling to close that gap.
Huh? Has Hootle attacked you too?
No, I just mean because of her thorns.
Thorns? I don't remember Rinwell having any magic like that. That sounds more like Shion than... Huh?
Anyway, Hoodle's probably just worried that you're going to take Rinwell away from him. He's pretty protective, after all. Maybe your first step should be to make friends with him and go from there.
Right. That's a good idea, Alphen. I'll be sure to give that a try.
Thank goodness for Law's thick skull.
So, how's it been going?
How's what been going?
Come on, man. You know what I mean. How have things been with you and Shion?
I had a feeling it was about that. Well, what about things on your end?
No, we're not talking about me. I'd rather hear about you.
I don't really have anything to share on that front.
Don't be like that. You think I can't tell something's been going on?
Look, I'm not the type to go blabbing about that kind of stuff.
Give me a break. Don't keep secrets from me just because you're a little old.
I'm not that old.
I don't know, man. Lately it seems like you start wheezing as soon as we get into a fight.
That's some pretty big talk. You really want to try your luck with me? What were we talking about before?
It was... well, it doesn't really matter now.
What's wrong? Did I hit your head too hard?
No, man, you don't get it. You're really something, Alphen.
What do you mean?
Just you. How you always indulge me and help me work through my jumbled thoughts.
Do I?
Yeah, I always feel better after being with you. Even duking it out just now helped.
There you go again, making me out to be better than I really am.
I'm not making you out to be anything. You can't stop me from admiring you, Alphen.
You've got strange taste then.
I'm fine with that. I hope someday I can be there to lift you up, too.
I don't plan on getting quite that old anytime soon.
We should go again sometime.
We should. I look forward to it. So, Kisara, once this fight is all over, I'm guessing you plan on heading back to Vicente?
Yeah. I've seen and learned so much traveling Dano with you all. I want to see those lessons applied back home. Hopefully I can use that knowledge to help reform Menancia even further, so it can be a model to other realms. What about you, Alphen? What's your plan?
That's a good question. I think I would be happy just to be able to put my fighting days behind me and live a calmer, more peaceful life. Granted, all I've ever known is how to swing a sword. I'm not sure that switch will be so easy. Still, as long as I have somewhere to come home to, somewhere with a roof and 4 walls without any holes in them, that'll be good enough for me. It would be a home with enough food to make sure I don't go hungry, and a warm bed at night so I don't freeze. It wouldn't have to be anything fancy.
You've always been modest like that. But you're forgetting something else that makes a home. Family. What if you and Shion...
I'd hate to make this conversation all about me. Is there anything you want for yourself once things are over?
For myself? I've never really thought about it. Well, there is one thing I can think of. I don't know if I should say it, though.
Yeah?
I want a fishing pond.
Really?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it for a while now. I love fishing, but it's always been such a process to actually do. You always have to make all these preparations before you go out and fish. It'd be nice to have a place I could visit without that hassle. Dig a pond, fill it with water, and get some fish for it. If I could do that, I wouldn't have to worry about Zoogles, and everyone could use it.
You really do love fishing if you're even thinking of ways to help other people enjoy it.
I do. Just don't tell him I said any of this, okay?
Him? You mean Dohalim? True. If he caught wind of it, it might turn into a way bigger project than it really needs to be.
Not only that, he's still determined to make Vicent's residents happy. But personally, I feel his power would be better put to use elsewhere. So if I ever get around to making my fishing pond, I'd rather do it on my own.
Well, if you ever need help, don't hesitate to ask. I don't know my lures from my rods, but I can definitely help with any manual labor you need.
That's sweet of you to offer. I think I'll take you up on that. And then, with the fish I catch there, I could treat everyone to special home-cooked dinners. I'm getting excited already just thinking about it. I suppose I never realized until this conversation that I had any dreams like that for myself. Thank you, Alphen.
Ah! Sorry, Shion. My foot slipped. Are you all right?
I should be asking you. What am I saying? Of course you're okay. It's easy to forget sometimes. If anybody else had been in your place, they'd be howling right about now.
Huh? Oh, right. You mean your thorns. Yeah, I'm, no worse for wear over here. Again, sorry for brushing you like that without warning.
Well, just be careful. Hey, Alphen? Forget it. It's nothing. I'm sorry to bother you.
Oh, okay.
What's with those two?
I wasn't sure if I'd actually reel it in, but somehow I did.
That was intense. It looked like you were practically dueling with the fish.
Yeah, I kept thinking your rod was going to snap in half the entire time I was watching.
It's a whopper of an armored sturgeon. It wriggled so much I thought my arms would pop out of their sockets.
The fish was all blah, and your rod was all creak, and the water was all splash, 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 splash. But you held your own and reeled it in. It was crazy. You're like a heavyweight fishing champion.
Heavyweight?
Law.
No, I just mean you put your full weight behind the thing.
Law, how about you put your full weight behind zipping your pie hole?
I meant it as a compliment.
It's amazing, isn't it? We've been all over Dana on this journey. Is there anywhere we haven't visited at this point?
Who knows?
I'm being serious.
We're talking about a whole planet here. Isn't it more exciting to just assume there are places we haven't seen yet?
I picked the wrong guy to ask. What about you, Alphen? What do you think?
That's a good question. I figure we visited just about every place civilization has set its eyes on.
So is there anything left for us to see?
That I couldn't say. We are talking about seeing an entire planet.
Yeah, I guess so.
This journey has proven just how little I truly knew our world. There is always more to learn. To assume otherwise would be the height of conceit.
There might well be places that we still haven't discovered yet. And if you ask me, I think that's perfectly fine.
Me too. We don't need to know every inch of Dana to fulfill our mission. Besides, I think there's something romantic about there still being mysteries out there.
I'd say it's part of the fun to imagine whether we'll be the first to uncover those mysteries. Maybe even now there are other explorers who will shed a light in the darkest places.
True. I guess the world's bigger than any of us will ever really realize.
You know, I was just saying the same thing as Alphen. Why does she listen to him and not me?
Sounds like you've still got a lot to learn about the mysteries of a woman's heart as well.
This ice cream tastes so good.
I swear, you're always having ice cream, even when it's freezing cold out.
And who made you the food police?
No one. I'm just saying that's a lot of ice cream. Don't you ever, throw up or anything?
Did you really just say that? Try thinking before you talk.
Huh? What do you mean? All I'm saying is I'm just a little worried about you, okay?
Well, don't be. I can have ice cream whenever I want.
You say that, but you know what's gonna happen if you keep eating ice cream all the time.
It's none of your business what I eat or how often.
Arguing over the consumption of a frozen dairy product. Ah, to be young.
Naive might be more accurate. Dohalim, your spare bracers were getting dirty, so I polished them up along with the rest of your equipment.
Why, thank you, Kisara. I greatly appreciate that.
Maybe it's just my imagination, but you sure seem to fuss over Dohalim a whole lot, Kisara.
It is a little strange. Almost like you're still in his service.
Really? That's certainly not my intention. Besides, he's not the only one I'm like that with. Hey, Law, I saw your clothes were starting to get holes in them, so I stitched them back up for you.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Kisara.
Point taken. Do you just like looking after people?
I wouldn't go so far as to say I like it, but I get anxious if I don't. I'd always like to help if I can. It comes naturally to me. Back in the day, Miguel and I used to look after the younger kids a lot, so that's probably where it comes from. He taught me everything I know, and I mean everything. How to cook with wild plants, how to sew clothes so they'll last. Without him, we never would have been able to survive.
However, you're not a lord anymore, Dohalim. You need to get used to the idea that people aren't just going to wait on you hand and foot.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I'm ashamed to admit that I felt no qualms about her doing all that for me. As both a Renan and especially as a lord, one becomes too accustomed to those beneath you tending to your every need, both Renans and Danans alike.
Sure, that's how all you Renans are probably raised. But just to be clear, we're not your servants, Dohalim. Got that?
Absolutely. Moments such as this provide me with ample opportunity to confront my unease. It is difficult to tend with my own motivations.
What do you mean?
The truth of the matter is that my espousal of coexistence in Menancia hardly came from an idealistic place. That instinctive unease I feel deep within serves as a reminder for what it is that all of us here fight for.
Don't be so hard on yourself. No one's going to abandon you if you aren't always perfect.
Looking at her now, I think she's more like his mom than his servant.
How are you holding up after that last fight? You're not too hurt, are you?
I'm fine, really. See for yourself.
If things get too tough out there, go ahead and fall back. I can take a beating if I need to.
I'm not here just to stand around and have everyone protect me.
I get that, but there's nothing wrong with admitting you have weaknesses too.
Do I look like I'm just trying to put on a brave face to you?
I can't feel pain, but you still can. Can't you?
Look, I appreciate you're trying to look out for me, but even you go down in fights from time to time. Please, stop trying to babysit me. It's getting old.
It's not that. I just...
How don't know what to do. Things can't go on like this.
What do you mean?
Ah! Oh, it's you, Rinwell.
You were talking about me, weren't you?
No, I wasn't. I've just been thinking about some things.
Really? How unusual.
Cut it out. I'm being serious here.
Sorry.
I was thinking about... You know how I used to work for Ganabelt back when I was in Cislodia?
Yeah, of course. You were brought in after the Snake Eyes killed your friends, right? I mean, you had to.
Right. I used to have nightmares about it when I fell asleep. But lately that's been happening a lot less. I don't know how to feel about that.
That's a good thing, isn't it? You should be happy.
Yeah, but... I did a lot of terrible things back then. And I'm scared I'm starting to forget what I did.
Okay, so let me just get all of this straight. You think you'll forget everything if you stop having those nightmares? Why?
Because... You know me. I'm freaking stupid.
But it sure doesn't sound to me like you've forgotten.
Oh, yeah, but still.
I don't think those nightmares going away means you've forgotten. Maybe it's a sign that you've come to terms with what you did.
Come to terms? You mean like Alphen with his past? You think that's what's happening?
Yeah, I do. You're pretty amazing, Law.
I am?
Yeah. Not all of us have figured out how to accept our pasts. Least of all, me.
Rinwell.
Hootle, I've got some dried fish for you. You want some?
Forget that. Doesn't some tasty red meat sound better, boy?
Hey! Stop trying to coax him away with treats. Get your own adorable sidekick if you're so desperate for one.
He appears to enjoy being the center of attention.
Funny how things change. He and Rinwell used to be joined at the hip, or shoulder to talon.
It's not just Hootle who's become more trusting. Isn't that so, Rinwell?
They do say pets and their owners act alike. I suppose since we've been together, I've done my share of coming out of my own shell too.
Well then, I guess with you and Hootle, that makes us all one big happy family.
Sometimes when I'm deep in thought, Hootle will come over and sit next to me. I only wish I could actually pet him.
Oh, you will someday. You won't believe how soft he is.
Wish I had that problem. I'm lucky if I can so much as look at old Featherbrain without him trying to claw me to ribbons.
Really? He seems tame enough around everyone else. Maybe it's just Hootle's way of establishing dominance?
That's dogs, not owls.
What's going on when Hootle pecks at you?
I don't know. Like when I'm talking to Rinwell, it's like he's trying to muscle me out or something. Unless... Wait, you don't suppose I make him jealous?
Come again?
Ow! Get off of me, you insecure fluffball!
I rather think they make a good comedic pairing.
Shion, about that fight just now.
Sorry about that. I was careless.
I didn't come to criticize you. Just please take better care of yourself.
You don't need to worry about me. In case you forgot, I can't exactly die anyway. It's like how you used to not care about getting beat up because you couldn't feel pain, and then I was the one to patch you up. It's the same thing.
You're right. That is how I used to be. But this isn't the same.
Then what do you mean? How is what's happening now different from what happened then?
It's different now.
Look, if you mean because you can feel pain again,
It's because I don't want to see you getting hurt. You're right. When I couldn't feel any pain, I put myself in all sorts of dangerous situations. I didn't listen to anybody's warnings, and I made a lot of people worried for no good reason. It was foolish. This isn't about you and me being able to take pain. I don't want to have to see you get hurt, Shion. It's too much for me to take. Is that a crazy thing to say?
No, it isn't. And I definitely don't like seeing you get hurt either, Alphen. We can't expect our enemies to show us any mercy, but I will do my best not to throw myself in harm's way out there either. How does that sound?
I'm sorry if I sounded harsh earlier. I didn't mean to. I just really want you to take better care of yourself.
I will. At least, for as long as I can.
Your cooking has really improved, Xion.
It's because of you that I understand what makes it so fun. I'm glad everyone seems to enjoy what I make too.
I've noticed a disturbing trend that after it's your turn to cook, our ingredients tend to run really low. What's up with that?
That is a good point, Law. There's a weird difference between the amount of ingredients she prepares and how much food actually gets served. Curious. Very curious indeed.
I don't know. Isn't it pretty normal for veggies to shrink a little when you fry them up?
Or maybe she eats all the bad batches herself so we won't notice.
Come on, I wouldn't do anything like that.
Then how would you explain the difference?
I have a theory that I wish to propose.
What is it?
As we all know, Xion here can have quite the appetite. I imagine she often taste tests her own food as she prepares it. By my eye, it would appear that her footprints are leaving deeper impressions as of late. Far be it from me to level such an accusation, but the facts lead me to conclude that...
She's been snacking while she cooks.
And yet, she still looks so slender in her clothing.
Yeah, I'm kind of envious, actually.
Wait a sec, are you guys trying to say she's...
I'm what?
Nothing?
Nothing.
Kisara? Anyone at home in there?
Sorry. Did I look distracted?
Among other things. To be entirely honest, I couldn't tell whether you were smiling or frowning.
You were thinking about Dohalim, weren't you?
That obvious, huh? I was just thinking how good it is to see him moving forward at last. It was always so infuriating, knowing how capable he could be if he just put his mind to it. A prisoner trapped in a cage of his own self-doubt. But now, he's finally beginning to spread his wings. I'm happy for him.
So, then why do you look so sad?
Oh, I don't know if I'd say sad. There's a bittersweetness to it, I guess. It's good and strange, knowing that he won't be needing me anymore. It probably sounds weird, doesn't it? I have this massive worry off my mind. I should be jumping up and down for joy, right?
Must be that maternal instinct of yours at work.
Rinwell's right. You're like a mother bird, finally letting go as her child takes his first shaking and nervous flight from the nest.
A pretty big child.
That's one way to look at it. I wouldn't like to see Dohalim's face if he heard you say that. All this has made me realize I can't allow myself to become a prisoner of my own making like he was. If Dohalim can forge his own path ahead, then I can too. I won't be left behind.
We did it, Hootle! We crushed the competition!
You've gotten way stronger since we first met you in Calaglia, Rinwell.
You wouldn't think she's a hardened fighter from how excited she looks.
Nothing wrong with that. It's good to see her smiling. What's gotten into you?
Birds are sometimes known to act aggressively towards those who get close to their chosen partners. Perhaps something similar is taking place here.
Huh? What are you talking about? Nah, no way. I ain't interested in some tomboy like... Stop it! How do I get him to leave me alone?
Maybe he's just upset because you haven't congratulated her yet. Did you think of that, Law?
Wow, Rinwell! You did such a great job! You're so amazing!
What's gotten into you?
I'm just trying to compliment you on a job well done!
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, sure. You're welcome.
Looks like I pulled through. Glad to see I can still do the guard proud.
I'd say what you've done will truly inspire the other guardsmen. Few of them enlisted today could do what you've accomplished here.
Man, being a guardsman sounds rough. You've still got to carry that kind of a weight on your shoulders even after you leave.
If only I'd reached this point sooner. Perhaps my brother would have opened up to me more while he was still alive. I feel like I failed him as a sister.
In hindsight, Miguel was always concerned for your well-being.
He was? I knew it. Of course he was. He must have thought I was far too weak to ever be a
As I recall, he worried that if you became too strong, any potential suitors would be frightened away.
Suitors?
Dohalim. Did you really think that was an appropriate topic to bring up right now?
Why? Was I out of line somehow?
I don't think you need to worry, Kisara. Everyone knows you're good at cooking.
Right, and you know how to fish, which means you can carry your own weight outdoors, too.
I don't know if telling her that is going to help in the way you guys think it will.
No, it's nice to hear that my skills are so appreciated, after all. Thank you, Alphen.
I suppose that makes you something of a wild guardsman, then.
Dohalim, please stop talking.
I never realized before just how hot this place is. It's like being inside a fire.
You're only just noticing? Ah, yes, forgive me. The whole lack of sensory feedback situation.
That's the one. It's hard to believe I once worked in this soup, let alone helped spearhead a revolution.
And all with the mask concealing your face. It must have been very grimy beneath that.
Back then, we had our plates full enough dealing with constant abuse from our Renan overlords. It never occurred to me the air itself was oppressive in its own way. My head spinning just with the effort it takes to walk.
I think that's called heat stroke. You might want to take a sip of water.
You mean that water that's been festering under the sun for days? I wouldn't chance it without boiling it first.
Oh, I know. I'll go to the dock and fetch us some clean water.
Water alone won't suffice. He'll need to ensure his sodium levels are replenished as well.
In that case, let's see if we can rustle up some rock salt. Alphen, you go cool off in the shade for a while. Xion, stay and keep an eye on him.
And then there were two.
Bit of an overreaction, but it's still kind of them.
Maybe it's not the time, but this place brings back memories.
I know what you mean. We're back where it all started.
You don't ever regret meeting me sometimes, do you?
Are you kidding? You started all of this. Bringing down the wall, retrieving my sense of self. I have no regrets.
Welcome back, Law.
Hey, Law. Been training?
Yeah, I guess I got a little carried away. You think this is bad, you should see the state of my underwear.
Yeah. A word of advice. You might want to refrain from mentioning that stuff around girls. Ones without a military history especially.
Man, can you imagine Rinwell's face? She'd have a nervous breakdown.
I meant in general, but you sure mention her a lot, you know.
Huh? Oh, you know, she's always there, even when you least expect it. Springs to mind easily.
Either that, or maybe some part of you is subconsciously always wishing she was there.
May the trials and tribulations of young romance never change.
Romance? Like I'd be interested in that know-it-all tomboy. I'm more about mature women. Someone more like Kisara.
You know, I used to be a tomboy too when I was Rinwell's age.
Look, it's not tomboys I have anything against. But come on, you've got to admit she can be a lot to handle.
Hey, I miss anything? What's all the fuss about?
Rinwell.
Thunderblade!
Ah! What the hell was that for?
A little birdie told me you were speaking about me behind my back. Whew!
From the looks of it, I'd say you've got yourself a rival.
It wouldn't be called the Spring of Youth without a little storm every now and then.
Are those two discussing relics again?
Then it's a promise.
Indeed it is.
Law, what are you doing?
Huh? Oh, Kisara. It's nothing. It's just those two are being sneaky over there. I heard something about a promise.
A promise? If it has to do with relics, then what?
Wait. You don't think they're gonna ditch us to become treasure hunters, do you?
I really doubt that.
You never know. He's pretty damn crazy for those relics of his.
Yeah, that's true.
It'd make things difficult for you if they just up and disappeared on us, right?
Yeah, that'd cause some problems.
We've gotta do something to stop them.
Hey, what if we collected all of the relics ourselves?
That's it! Then they wouldn't have to go anywhere!
We might not be able to hear them talk like he can, but we can still search for them anywhere that looks likely.
Yeah, between the two of us, I'm sure we won't miss a single one.
Speaking of which, why are you so concerned about them taking off?
Huh? Well, you see...
This is going to be so great.
Indeed. Once we're finished, we can hold it in the palace.
A Danon relic exhibition!
I'll let you serve as our exhibit guide, Renwell.
Right. I'll study up so I can answer any question they throw at me.
And, if you could, please ensure that Hootle stays far, far away from the exhibits.
Who?